The very first thing you'll need to know is the command line. The command line can be very intimidating, especially if you're new to web development. However, you will need to know your way around if you plan on doing Gutenberg development. So that's what you'll be learning in this lecture. The command line is extremely powerful, but you actually don't need to know every feature there is. There are dozens of commands, but we'll only be learning a handful. The reason being is because we don't need to know the other commands or even use them. You don't have to be a master at using the command line, especially when it comes to WordPress. The commands I teach you here will be the only commands you'll need for the rest of this course. So let's get started. The very first thing you want to do is open up the command line. The command line can be opened by searching for the phrase command prompt if you're on a Windows machine. If you're on a Linux or Mac, then this will be called terminal. The command line is just this basic window with a black background and white text. Before there were websites and user interfaces, we had the command prompt. Everything you ever wanted to do would be through the command prompt. The reason you would use a command prompt is because it's 10 times faster than using an interface. You don't really need an interface for everything, and as web developers, we want to do everything as fast as we can. Not only that, web servers themselves generally don't have interfaces. So learning how to use the command line is beneficial. If you're on a Windows machine, then you're faced with a major disadvantage. The command prompt doesn't use the exact same commands as Linux or Mac. This is a problem, as most tutorials and resources use Unix-like commands. This has been a problem for a very long time. However, Microsoft developed another command line called the PowerShell. I want you to search for that and open it up. The PowerShell is a newer and faster command line than the command prompt. Not only is it faster, but it has the same exact commands as Unix-like systems. We'll be using the PowerShell for the rest of this lecture. That way, you don't have to memorize two different commands for the same thing. When you first open the command line, you won't see much initially. You'll just see where you are in your directory. Some command lines will have a $sign to indicate that anything after that sign is user input, aka your own commands or text. Right now, I'm able to see my full path. I'm inside the c:/users/jack directory. Some command lines will not even show you the full path. The reason for this is to save some space. You may be in a directory that has a long name, and it would be kind of annoying to have to see it for every line on the command line. If you ever want to see the full path, then you simply type in pwd. pwd is short for present working directory. Upon entering this command, you'll see the full path you're currently in. This is super useful, especially if you can't use something like the Explorer to tell you exactly where you are. Now that we have an idea of where we are, let's learn to navigate around. Before you can navigate around, you have to know where you can navigate to. The next command you need to know is the ls command. This command is short for the word list. Enter this command. This will output a list of files and folders currently in the directory you're working in. As you can see here, I have all these files and folders along with information about when the last time each file was modified and their permissions. Now that I have an idea of where I am, let's move into a folder. To move into a folder, you need to use the cd command, which is short for change directory. After this command, you have to input the name of the directory you'd like to move into. I want to move into the music directory, so I'll input that and press enter. Just like that, I'm inside the music directory. If I wanted to move back, I would have to use the cd command again, but this time I would input two dots like so. Two dots represent up one directory. This command will move you up one directory. We are back to where we started. If I wanted to move up multiple directories, then I would just input ... This will take me all the way up to the root of my drive. You can use forward slashes to indicate that you'd like to move through multiple directories. This also applies to moving into directories. I know for a fact that my XAMPP installation is inside this directory. I'm going to move into the htdocs directory by inputting cd XAMPP/htdocs. Let's make this into an exercise. I want you to move into your htdocs directory using the cd command. If you're not completely sure where it is, then it's fine to cheat. You can open the File Explorer and check where the full path is. Once you know where the path is, then you just use the ls and cd commands to help navigate your way around the command line. To verify that I'm inside the htdocs folder, I want to use the ls command to view the folders. I'll find my projects and the Udemy folder here as well. There's one last command I want to use, and that's the mkdir command. This command is short for make directory. This will create a new folder. I want to create a folder called learn-js. Enter this command and a new folder should be made. Let's double check this. I want you to open your editor and then open this directory inside your editor. That's basically it when it comes to commands. Not much to it, honestly. These commands will just help you navigate around the command line. There's other commands that will help with modifying and deleting files, but you don't need to know those since we'll be working in an editor most of the time. If you have Visual Studio Code like me, then you'll be able to open the command line by going to View Integrated Terminal. One of the great things about this is that it automatically points to the current directory you're in. This is a huge time saver as we won't have to use the cd command every time you want it to move into this directory. I'll be using this terminal throughout the rest of this course. If you don't have it, then that's fine. You can continue using the command line your operating system has provided you.